Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including more Model 3 incentives, Cybertruck design updates, Tesla disabling radar, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, we have a couple of Model Y updates, and one of them is pretty huge. Tesla is expected to refresh this car in the near future, but not until after they refresh the Model 3 with Project Highland. So for now, it is remaining the same, but seeing a $250 price increase. The cheapest Model Y, as configured, now starts at $47,740, with long range coming in at $50,490 and performance at $54,490. This price increase is only in play for the cheapest Model Y, and it could have to do with capacity. These smaller, less noticeable increases don't seem to bother people quite as much as big sudden ones. Of course, all models qualify for the $7,500 tax credit, but Tesla also made another change to the base model. The only interior option is now black. It used to be that any Model Y could be configured with black or black and white interior, but now you can only get the upgraded interior if you opt to upgrade the vehicle configuration itself. Technically speaking, previously you could get a Model Y with white interior for around $48,000, but now it'll cost you about $51,500. Of course, you'll get the extra range there. My guess is that this move is motivated by a number of factors. They are changing the base model to be more like a true base model with limited options. This will drive some customers to upgrade vehicles and should help Tesla save on production cost. Now, when they build a 4680 all-wheel drive Model Y, the only changing factors are paint color, wheels, and tow hitch. There also may be supply at play here, and it makes sense for Tesla to save white seats for their higher spec cars. What do you think of this change though? Are you disappointed, or would it make you upgrade to a more expensive car? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today, several Tesla owners have claimed that during a service appointment, technicians reportedly unplugged the radar apparatus in their vehicles. For a while now, we've known that radar has been used as a sort of backup for Tesla's vision system, which they're banking on working solo in the long term. In May of 2021, Tesla told drivers that any Model 3s and Ys for the North American market after that point wouldn't be equipped with radar, and the Model S and X had it removed in February of 2022. There are still many cars on the road, though, that have the radar system active. Now, owners are reporting on Tesla Motors Club that their cars have had their radar systems unplugged and deactivated quietly during service visits. The only communication of this change from Tesla was a service bulletin that wasn't made publicly available until it was shared on Reddit. They said autopilot and active safety features that were using front radar sensor data transitioned to using camera data, Tesla Vision, making the front radar unnecessary. Owners only found out via their service invoice agreements, which seems a little bit sneaky. Tesla hasn't kept it any secret that they're moving away from this system, but some customers are frustrated that Tesla would disable a feature on their vehicle without telling them first. That said, unplugging it does seem to be justified because Vision has gotten to a place where the radar system is now just taking up battery power and not really contributing. Tesla is also planning to disable the system for all vehicles in an upcoming software update anyway. I believe it has already happened in many cars as well. In my 2021 Model S with radar, I noticed that the top autopilot speed decreased to 85 miles per hour. That's the speed they went down to when they removed radar, so it very well could be completely excluding radar at this point. We're seeing the end of radar in Tesla's autopilot system, and that means they've deemed Vision to be ready to work on its own. They've already made this change in the Model S and X, so it shouldn't really come as a surprise. At the same time though, they could have communicated it better to customers that this was happening instead of just doing it on their cars. The weirdest thing here is that Tesla has been adding radar into Hardware 4.0 cars. The newest Model S and X with Hardware 4 has radar included, so Tesla appears to be bringing it back for future cars. So far, the Model Y with Hardware 4.0 does not have radar, but they must be planning to add it in across the board eventually if we're seeing it on new Model S's and X's. Next up today, we have a few Cybertruck updates. One of them is pretty hilarious, but also points to an option Tesla may ship on this car. Recently, we've seen production updates on the Cybertruck, including a load of megacasts spotted outside Giga, Texas. This is one of the most important pieces that will lead to production, and on top of this, we heard from Tesla suppliers. Reportedly, Tesla told suppliers that for Project Everest, the code name for the Cybertruck program, suppliers should plan to meet a volume of 375,000 Cybertrucks per year. That's also the base volume, indicating they could go up from there. Tesla also told suppliers that they plan to have release candidates at the end of August, which is very exciting exciting considering how close that is. I'm very curious with that volume and this release coming up how Tesla plans to first ship this car. They have over 1.5 million pre-orders, so first customers later this year will be considered extremely lucky to get first Cybertrucks. It will also take Tesla a few years to fulfill orders, even at the aggressive rates we're hearing about. In any case, one big aspect of the Cybertruck is the fact that it is not painted. It's stainless steel. 3 years ago, Elon said of the Cybertruck that you will be able to wrap it in any color or pattern. Later though, he added, not at first, but there are many third-party options for wrapping. However, in 2023, we saw Tesla hiring for Cybertruck paint. They had multiple jobs related to the paint process on the Cybertruck that they were hiring for. This was a bit confusing, but some speculated that these jobs may just be relating to the final treatment step of the Cybertruck's stainless steel, or it could relate to a wrap. Now the Cybertruck has been spotted in the wild sporting a wrap. This is the first time we've ever seen the Cybertruck wrapped, and it was wrapped in a camouflage pattern. Typically, Tesla doesn't use camouflage on prototypes like other automakers do consistently, so this is pretty hilarious to see. The Cybertruck is so distinct that camouflage does absolutely nothing to hide this truck. If anything, it draws more attention to it, which is likely Tesla's actual purpose here. This wrapped prototype was driving all around Palo Alto and was spotted by a number of different people. There was even a video of it pulling through In-N-Out, and it gives us a better look at the size of this truck than we've seen in the past. It seems like a pretty normal large truck, and we got a great demo of rear steering as they turn out of In-N-Out and onto the street. This is leading to a lot of speculation here. If Tesla is camo wrapping, that likely means they're very close to production on this truck, and testing final prototypes. It could also mean that the shape is finally finished enough for them to finalize wrap measurements. Additionally, they could be testing out their own in-house wrap services. Elon talked about that originally, and over in China, Tesla offers wraps on their cars through service centers. Maybe they are looking to do something similar with the Cybertruck, and this is the first time they're testing it out in the wild after the final design has been wrapped. That's speculation, but something is going on here, and there's a reason for Tesla to have the Cybertruck out in the wild, wrapped. It could very well just be to drive hype as they hopefully truly approach production and deliveries for the Cybertruck. Next up today, Tesla is offering yet another incentive for the Model 3 right as they are on the cusp of reportedly refreshing this car. Not only do all versions of the Model 3 now qualify for the $7,500 tax credit, but Tesla is continuing to offer discounts on Model 3s currently in inventory. Some discounts are a few $1,000s off, but Tesla has added another incentive to buy before the end of the quarter, 3 months of free supercharging. Quote, 3 months free unlimited supercharging if ordered and delivered between June 14th and June 30th, 2023. They also add that it is, quote, applicable to Model 3 vehicles listed on the inventory page only. In my opinion, you have to be in a pretty specific situation for this incentive to actually drive you to buy a Model 3. 3 months of free supercharging is cool, but will run out pretty fast. Plus, you have to actually go out to a supercharger, so I think this may make the most sense for something who's buying the car and planning to road trip immediately. I know for myself, if I was buying this car, I'd probably get about a couple $100s of free charging in that amount of time. Especially considering their new referral program and how you can get miles of free charging with the referral credits, that makes this even less enticing. Still though, it's clear that Tesla is doing a lot to push inventory at the end of the quarter for the Model 3 more than any other car. This incentive does not exist for the Model Y, and it's likely because the Model Y won't be seeing a refresh in the very near future. For the Model 3, most are expecting that refresh to come in July, so Tesla needs to get rid of this inventory. Once Tesla announces that, older Model 3s will be much less enticing and have already lost some value. We'll see how this latest incentive does, but I fully expect we'll see Tesla lower Model 3 prices as we lead up to the end of the quarter. Many are aware of this refresh coming soon, and 3 months of supercharging won't make many willing to take the plunge right before it happens. The one group that may benefit though is the group that wants a Model 3 with stocks before Tesla is rumored to remove them. Actual price drops could move this inventory though, so I'm curious to see what happens here. Tesla could take any number of routes leading to the end of the quarter. By the way, real quick, I want to shout out my new jazz channel called Jazz Exhibition. We just put up our 4th video, which is a jazz cover of Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid. I'd love for you to check it out if you can, and it's linked in the description and comments below. We'll be releasing there weekly, and I'm super excited about it, so let me know what you think. Next up today, we have an updated production timeline for the Tesla Semi. They delivered first semis to customers in December last year, after years of delays, and and Elon said at the time that they were planning to reach volume production of 50,000 trucks per year by 2024. Elon's timelines, though, seem to be consistently over-ambitious, so it's no surprise that this timeline is being pushed once again. During a conference in Austin recently, he said they don't expect to begin producing the truck in larger volumes until the end of next year, citing battery supply constraints. Right now, their production capacity is somewhere around 5 trucks per week, and they're building those at Giga Nevada. In January, they announced they'd be expanding as part of their $3.6 billion investment in Giga Nevada to help that factory reach its originally intended size. That still hasn't happened, so it follows that the Tesla Semi isn't anywhere near volume production yet. That probably means a 2024 deadline for 50,000 trucks a year is probably out of the question. They were able to get there that fast with the Model Y in China, but that was a car they had already perfected the process for. They're creating entirely new production lines for the Semi, and it uses a lot of battery supply, so it's going to take a little longer. We could be disappointed that this projection was so far off, but I think we've learned at this point that when we hear from Elon on timelines, it's just not going to be that reliable. That's at least been the case with newer products whose production calendars are a little less certain. When this truck does enter volume production, though, it's going to be great news for the shipping industry and for Tesla. Next up today, Elon Musk is set to meet with France's president for the second time in a month. This definitely adds fuel to the fire of rumor that Tesla will be building a factory there. Last time Elon was there, Tesla talked about potential significant investment in France, and it has been clear that Tesla is looking into a second European factory. This one will likely build their affordable EV. France's president was pretty clear about this meeting's intent, saying, "We have also invested in a whole sector of electric batteries, and we will therefore try to convince him that France is the best possible place in Europe to set up the next Tesla factory." Elon has talked about announcing another factory in addition to Giga Mexico this year. Right now, it seems it could be between France and Spain. This should be interesting to see develop, and we'll likely keep seeing these announcements as Tesla plans to significantly ramp up production this decade. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. GM has entered production on their Equinox EV early. The 2024 Chevy Equinox EV was scheduled to launch officially in fall and will be starting around $30,000. It was leaked coming off their production line in Mexico, and it looks like it maintains the space, safety, style, and value of its ICE counterpart, but with a modern upgrade. It'll come in 5 trims, the 1LT, 2LT, 2RS, 3LT, and 3RS, with up to 300 miles of range in either front wheel or all-wheel drive. At the same time, GM has also had a voluntary recall for the GMC Hummer EV and Cadillac Lyriq for potential power issues. The connections within their high-voltage battery pack could be improperly positioned or incorrectly welded, which increases the risk of power loss. That could be a safety concern in some situations, but the issue isn't too serious in this case. GM is only aware of 5 vehicles that are affected so far, but it could be more. They'll be reaching out to owners by July 10th of 2023 and offering free battery replacements to those owners. EVbox, an Amsterdam-based company, has launched their first standalone 400 kilowatt EV charging station. It's called the Tronic High Power, and they say it can add up to 62 miles of range in as little as 3 minutes. If the vehicle supports it, that would make it the fastest EV charger on the market. Reportedly as well, when shared between 2 EVs, 200 kilowatts of energy can be delivered to each vehicle. They tested it out in an early adopter program and have had more than 4,000 successful charging sessions with more than 1,700 hours of active charging. Tesla's superchargers run at a max rate of 250 kilowatts in most places, but their V4 supercharger in the Netherlands can theoretically reach up to 600 kilowatts. Now, EVbox is a new competitor, and their goal is to produce up to 2,000 units this year at their factory in France. They also expect to be fulfilling orders in September of this year in Europe. Toyota will be investing $50 million to build a new battery lab in the US to support their electric vehicle strategy. That strategy, proposed by their new CEO, includes 10 new fully electric models by 2026. They also plan to launch their own dedicated EV platform in 2026 that they claim will double the range of their future EVs. Now they're making it happen with a battery factory at their North American R&D headquarters in York, Michigan, which their executive vice president says shows Toyota's directional shift toward electrification for all. They also recently unveiled their first US assembled EV, a 3-row SUV that's expected to launch in 2025. In addition to this concept, they've revealed a sport crossover and family SUV, as well as an electric sedan in China, the BZ3. Specs for those vehicles haven't been released yet, and it looks like Toyota is starting to head in the right direction. Toyota has also revealed plans for several new technologies, including their next-gen EV batteries, aerodynamic drag reduction, and manufacturing upgrades to help transform their future. Now, quote, after discovering a breakthrough, Toyota says it aims to offer solid-state EV batteries that could potentially offer over 900 miles driving range. They are accelerating development here and planning for mass production of high-performance batteries from 2027 to 2028. They want it to have 20% more range and a 10-minute quick charge. From there, they want to deliver that battery with 900 miles of range. These are very bold claims by Toyota, and this has been a pattern in the past, so it will be interesting to see this develop. Regardless, it's exciting to see these innovations because even if we don't truly see this 900-mile range EV anytime in the near future, this innovation will trickle down and make EVs competitive. Prior to this, though, they need to ship a reasonable EV in the first place. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest Model 3 interior leaks, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.